Coming up on Citrus TV News, Hurricane Florence makes landfall on the Carolina coast. Devastating damage already felt on day one.
And Governor Andrew Cuomo defeats challenger Cynthia Nixon for the Democratic nod. Political analyst Michael Fornari is here to break down what it means.
And Citrus TV reporter Lilia Wood has an update on the latest campus construction projects. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
We begin Citrus TV News tonight with the latest from North Carolina, as it is at least 4 people are reportedly dead because of recently downgraded Tropical Storm Florence. Good evening, I'm Rebekah Castor.
And I'm Conor Wight. The strong, slow-moving storm is currently battering the Carolina coast, and our weather anchor Zachary Levine has the latest on the Category 1 storm. Zachary?
Yeah, that's right, Conor. You hit the nail on the head there. Category 1 storm has packed a punch as it continues to hover over the Carolinas. Now take a look at the hurricane. Absolutely stationary. It's not moving anywhere as it spirals over the coastline from Wilmington down to Charleston, all the way inland to Columbia. That's almost 2 hours over inland. Now, a mother and an infant are among the 4 dead after a tree fell on their home 75 miles inland from the coast. Meanwhile, on that coast, residents who stayed behind are experiencing 10-foot-plus storm surges and could end up with upwards of 40 inches of rain when all is said and done. Power is out and more than 700,000 homes and businesses. State of emergencies have been declared in North and South Carolina, as well as Georgia, Virginia, and all the way up to Maryland. More than 4,000 National Guard soldiers have been deployed in the hardest hit areas, while communities on both the coast and inland continue to hunker down until this monster storm passes. Carolinians may not be out of the woods until late Sunday. Then the storm will turn around and bring rain to the region later in the week. More on that coming up in my full weather forecast.
Thanks, Zachary. Hurricane Florence is projected to travel up the coast and bring rain and winds to New York State. Tune in to Citrus TV next week for more weather updates.
And today is the last day students can purchase tickets to University Union's annual Juice Jam Festival. The music festival will kick off this Sunday at 2:15 at the Skytop Field on South Campus. The lineup includes artists such as A$AP Ferg and Playboi Carti. All students must bring a valid ID to the day of to enter the venue. Doors open at noon. Syracuse University is holding an intra-university transfer fair for students thinking of transferring to another school within the university. The fair will give students the opportunity to ask questions about different majors and academic opportunities. The fair will take place on Thursday, September 27th from 11 to 4 in the atrium of Shine Student Center.
And while students were off for summer break, the Division of Campus Facilities and Administrative Services was busy with renovations. Citrus TV reporter Lilia Wood has the details on what's new around SU.
Thanks, guys. To start off, one of the biggest developments is the National Veterans Resource Center that will be open in 2020. It is a one-of-a-kind facility that will cater to veterans as well as SU's ROTC program, the longest-standing program of its kind in the country. This National Veterans Resource Center comes from a long history of SU supporting veterans. After World War II, the Chancellor announced that anyone who wants to come back to get an education is welcomed. The University Vice President and Chief Facilities Officer Pete Sala wanted to make this home base for veterans as accessible as possible.
To traverse all 3 or 4 floors without ever getting on an elevator or up a set of steps. So people who have come in with needs can get to where they need to with like anybody else. We're very proud of it.
This building will host the largest lecture hall on campus that will seat 750 people, with a capacity at 1,000. Another construction project this summer resulted from students reaching out to Sala after he sent his monthly construction email in April.
We get feedback from that. And one of the things the students asked us for is why isn't there sidewalks in Walnut Park?
The university does not own Walnut Park, but they were able to work with the city of Syracuse to get permits for this project.
We all love that project. It completely changes that park.
Some residents of the newest apartment complex, the Marshall, are moving in today after weeks of construction delays. Although it is off-campus housing, the Student Association reached out to Sala to see if they could assist the students together.
We're going to do whatever we can to help them get from point A to point B and get in that building.
Sala and his team donated dozens of move-in bins to help ease the process.
These students have already gone through a lot, so we just want to make it as easy as possible for them today.
Construction on transforming Archibald Gymnasium into the Barnes Center at the Arch is still taking place. To accommodate students' requests, the newest gym facility will not only include fitness equipment and weights, but also a multiple activity court for the winter months. The arch is still scheduled to open by next fall, so construction on the Shine Student Center can begin shortly after. Back to you guys.
Thanks for the updates, Lilia. It's been over a week since Nike aired a new ad campaign featuring Colin Kaepernick. CitrusTV reporter Anna Azallion reports on what people are saying about the ad.
So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
Nike sales are back to the level they started at before this ad campaign featuring Colin Kaepernick. After an initial decline, the stock has been rising for over a week.
And even the stock market could see that there was a lot of positive energy that is actually at a much higher scale than the negative responses to it.
This ad has Americans reacting very strongly, some even going as far as to burn Nike products like this shoe.
Nike is a brand used by almost everyone in the general public. We're in a very tough political period right now in the United States where we're divided between red and blue. So by coming out with a message like this, there's a big risk that people will go out and burn Nike clothes, which is exactly what some people are doing.
However, not everyone agrees with these actions.
They're being super dramatic about it.
I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think that's a little bit of an extreme response.
Some people are reacting in a different way. They're making memes.
They're just all over social media. It's basically spoofing the phrase that Nike did, and then you take a picture of someone else that's not Colin Kaepernick, put in a phrase that fits them, and then under you have the Nike logo. Just do it.
Professor Brian Sheehan says memes of advertisements are generally making fun of them, but that's not a bad thing.
So in advertising, when people are making fun of your advertising, that's usually a very good thing.
Anna Azallion, CitrusTV News.
Catholic churches in CNY are holding a special Mass this weekend that the Catholic Diocese of Syracuse says is a, quote, Mass of forgiveness to pray for victims of clergy sexual abuse. Officials say Syracuse Diocese priests abused about 76 victims in the area. The church is offering victims settlements through a special compensation program. And Byrne Dairy is proposing a $24 million expansion of its plant in DeWitt. A lawyer of Byrne Dairy says the 42,000 square foot expansion will allow the plant to increase its packaging capability. The convenience store chain proposed 2 other expansions that never got passed, but their lawyer says this one will happen. Officials say the expansion will create at least 20 new jobs.
New York State held its primaries yesterday. Citrus TV political correspondent Michael Fernari is here to break down the different victories and defeats.
Thursday, the state of New York held its primaries for November's elections. The day amounted to a big win for the state's Democratic establishment as incumbent Andrew Cuomo rolled to victory over progressive challenger Cynthia Nixon by more than 30 points. In her concession speech, Nixon claimed that even in defeat, her and her movement were victorious after pushing Cuomo to alter his positions on immigration and marijuana legalization. Progressives can also point to the state Senate victory of Democratic Socialist Julia Salazar, who defeated 8-term incumbent Martin Dillon with 59% of the vote in their Brooklyn district. In a loss for moderates and bipartisanship, primary voters buried 6 of the 8 members of the now defunct Independent Democratic Conference in the New York State Senate. The group of state senators were known for reaching across the aisle, something it appears the Democratic base has little patience for. In addition, Cuomo's favorite for Attorney General, Letitia James, won 40% of the vote on her way to victory. James will face Republican Keith Wofford in the general election, the state's first black GOP candidate for Attorney General. And over on the Republican side, there were no primaries of note, as every major GOP candidate ran uncontested to embrace unity for the general elections. Remember, registered Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1 in New York. Most notably, the party has united around Dutchess County executive and anti-Trump conservative Mark Molinaro in his run for governor. In what is shaping up to be a down year for Republican turnout, it should be an uphill climb for Molinaro. Conor and Rebekah, back to you.
Onondaga County Executive Joni Mahoney proposed the 2019 fiscal budget to legislators today. The proposal includes a flat tax and increased funding for sewer maintenance. Families will pay an extra $30 next year for sewers if the budget is adopted. Also included is increased funding for Visit Syracuse and 15 new positions at the Sheriff's Office. Legislators will vote on the budget on October 9th.
And if you're looking for a way to celebrate Italian culture or enjoy some good food, you're in luck. The annual Festa Italiana began today in front of City Hall. The three-day event includes games, music, and food from over 25 restaurants. You can check out the festivities until 11 p.m. tonight or visit the event over the weekend. Another beautiful day here in Syracuse. Conor, I'm surprised that we're still having summer weather.
Me too, but something tells me it won't last for much longer. Citrus TV weather anchor Zachary Levine is in studio with your first look at the weather. Zachary?
Hey guys, I hope it's going all right for you. Weather right now, I mean, it's looking pretty good outside here in Syracuse. In the mid-80s today, down to the low 80s tonight, into the 70s. But overall, a pretty good week for Syracuse. Obviously, that rain coming from Hurricane Florence making its way up the coast, and we'll see plenty of trouble here Monday and Tuesday. We'll get back to you later with a full weather forecast.
Prosecutors are working on a plea deal with former Trump campaign official Paul Manafort. Find out what this deal involves next.
And a major storm system is moving into the Philippines. How is the country responding? Find out after the break.
Superheroes? Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Whoa! Gear up, guys.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Paul Manafort pleaded guilty to 2 criminal charges this morning under the terms of a plea deal.
President Trump's former campaign chairman agreed to cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller and provide evidence in exchange for reduced charges.
It is not yet known what information Manafort might provide or how the plea agreement will affect Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election.
A series of gas explosions in Massachusetts late Thursday evening has killed 1 and injured at least 25 other people.
The explosions ignited fires in at least 36 homes in communities north of Boston. Officials evacuated residents as emergency crews worked to put out the fires and turn off the gas.
Emergency management officials say overpressurized gas lines started the fire, but investigators have not yet revealed an official cause.
And Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is denying an accusation of sexual misconduct from when he was in high school.
Kavanaugh released a statement saying he has never engaged in the alleged behavior in high school or any time after.
The allegation comes during the final days of Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing. The Senate will hold a vote later this month.
A Catholic bishop based in West Virginia is resigning his post following allegations that he sexually harassed adults.
Pope Francis accepted 75-year-old Michael Bransfield's resignation. The Pope is launching an investigation into the accusations.
The resignation comes days after Pope Francis called a meeting of church officials to speak about the widespread issue of abuse in the Catholic Church.
And the Philippines is evacuating thousands of people as a super typhoon threatens more than 4 million people in the country.
The storm is the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane with current wind speeds up to 180 miles per hour.
The storm is stronger than Hurricane Florence, which is currently hitting the east coast of the United States. The typhoon just made landfall earlier this afternoon.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is in China to talk trade. The South American country is looking for a $5 billion emergency loan to help alleviate the country's economic crisis.
The Venezuelan government says the loan would be used to help increase crude oil production.
This follows statements from Maduro in which he said that Venezuela may sue Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru for the alleged mistreatment of Venezuelan immigrants.
Coming up after the break, Citrus TV weather anchor Zachary Levine has all the weather you need to know before the game tomorrow. Stay tuned.
See you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is
Let's try that again. Here is our radar. Finally, Central New York not looking too bad right now. It's going to be a pretty good weekend for Central New York. Again, tonight, no real showers, maybe a few sprinkles here or there. Taking a fuller look at tomorrow, your game day forecast, of course, Syracuse playing Florida State at the Dome. Getting up early, that game's at noon. Up early, though. 9 a.m., 72, up at noon to 82, that's game time, and then 3 p.m., 85. I mean, obviously, wear shorts and a t-shirt because there's no AC in the Dome, partly cloudy, and a small chance of rain there. Take a look right now at your current temperatures. Fulton up to 82, Syracuse here 81. Down in the south, the southern tier, Elmira at 72. So, I mean, right now, Central New York, warmer than the south. Taking a look at our 5-day forecast, Saturday and Sunday still looking pretty good, but Monday and Tuesday, obviously, the Hurricane Florence coming up the coast, making its way here to Central New York. And then Wednesday, welcome to fall. Wednesday is cool. Just wait till the rest of the week, even cooler.
Coming up on sports, a struggling Florida State team is coming to the Carrier Dome tomorrow. A member of Syracuse basketball's starting five has been injured, and MLB baseball's regular season is coming down to the wire. That and more on sports next.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome to sports. I'm Zach Lang. Syracuse football is 2-0, and now it's time for conference competition as Florida State comes to the Dome. The Seminoles are 1-1 under first-year head coach Will Taggart, and while the Seminoles struggled in their first 2 games of the season, Syracuse quarterback Eric Dungey says this team can't be underestimated.
Florida State's a great team. I mean, you watch them on the field, and fans are going to say, oh, they almost lost to Stanford. I mean, you look at those guys, and they're still the same guys. I mean, they got a new coaching staff. Rome wasn't built in one day. Those coaches, Coach Taggart's a great coach, so he's going to get them right. It was just like when Coach Babers came in. It's not going to change immediately. And they got all the pieces there, but once they start building together, that program's going to take off. But I mean, I think we got a good program here that we've built over the past 3 years, so I'm looking forward to going to the game.
Last year, Syracuse lost down in Tallahassee to Florida State in heartbreaking fashion. With under a minute left, kicker Cole Murphy's potential game-tying field goal was blocked. Eric Dungey played the entire game with a broken foot, but this year Dungey is healthy. The Orange have a new kicker and are currently 5th in the nation when it comes to tempo, averaging 92 snaps per game compared to Florida State's average of 68. And head coach Jim Boeheim announced today that senior point guard Frank Howard sustained a lower left leg injury. According to the team, Howard will only miss practice time and will be ready for the first game of the year. The first preseason matchup for the Orange is October 25th against St. Rose in the Carrier Dome. No details about how Howard suffered the injury were released. Howard led the ACC in steals per game last season and was one of 3 players in the starting lineup that averaged over 38 minutes per game for the Orange. And on the pitching mound, the MLB regular season is winding down. The New York Yankees are trying to get back on the subway track, currently just 1.5 games ahead for home field advantage in the wild card. The final homestand of their regular season starts tonight when they take on the Toronto Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. Masahiro Tanaka will take the mound for the Bronx Bombers, while Gary Sanchez has dropped in the batting order to 7th, his lowest placement since 2016. First pitch is set for 7:05. And ahead of the Yankees for the top spot in the AL East are the league-leading Boston Red Sox. Visiting them tonight is the team with the worst record in the league, the New York Mets. Noah Syndergaard and company look to slay the Green Monster and throw his first outing since being struck by a ball less than a week ago. X-rays turned up negative, and he'll be good to go. The Sox will host the Mets in all 3 games of the series, with the last one being played on Sunday. First pitch tonight is set for 10 after 7. And sticking with the Mets, a superstar will take the diamond one last time later this month. David Wright will return to the Mets lineup for the first time in a year and a half to once again play third base. He will play in the Mets' final homestand on September 29th against the Miami Marlins. The 7-time All-Star has battled multiple back injuries since the 2015 season, including a herniated disc. Wright is the Mets' all-time leader in hits, doubles, walks, runs scored, and RBIs. And another New York sports personality is presumably on his way out of the Big Apple. Center Joakim Noah is expected to part ways with the Knicks before training camp. A report from The Athletic says New York is still looking for trade partners, but will most likely have to use the waive and stretch provision. Noah still has 2 years left on what is arguably the worst contract in the NBA, worth $72 million over 4 years. He played in just 53 games over the last 2 seasons.
So, what do you think about the idea that Noah might leave the Knicks? What do you think? Do you think the Timberwolves might make a move for him?
I definitely think the Timberwolves are getting him. Based on what Tom Thibodeau is trying to run, bringing in Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson, and of course Derrick Rose, there's room for Joakim Noah on that roster.
Yeah. So, Zach, I'm actually from Florida, so I'm a huge Florida State fan. Grew up cheering for the Noles, so I really don't care which team wins this weekend. What's your prediction, though, for the football game?
My prediction's got to be 44-28 Syracuse. Go 'Cuse, as always. But probably because Florida State not looking so good under first-year head coach Will Taggart. Granted, they have a lot of ways to go, as you saw what Dungy had to say. Rome was not built in a day, but as of right now, Florida State is in no position to take down the Orange.
All right, well, you may be split, but I know I'm cheering for the Orange.
Thanks, Zach.
No problem.
And after the break, we have one last look at your weather for tomorrow. Stick around. About a quarter.
All right, good job.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. We have Citrus TV weather anchor Zachary Levine back to answer a few questions for us. So, we know that the dome shields students from the elements, but of course, you know, we all got to get to the dome. What can we expect weather-wise on the way to the game tomorrow?
Well, the weather for the game tomorrow is going to be great. Mid-80s, even high 80s, possibly, if that sun comes beating down. I mean, you mentioned that the dome shields students from the weather, but there's no AC. So we're talking shorts, we're talking T-shirts, we're talking less than that maybe. Well, we're closed, but we're talking less than that. So really dress for that heat outside, because if it's hot inside, if it's hot outside, it's going to be hot inside too.
Yeah, so that sounds like great weather for the game tomorrow, but what about for Juice Jam? Are students going to see that hot weather as well on Sunday?
Obviously no roof for Juice Jam, but same hot weather. Enjoy it while it lasts, because obviously, and I'll talk about this in a minute, the hurricane coming up. Sunday's probably our last good day of hot, sunny weather. But yeah, definitely shorts, T-shirts, whatever you want to wear. It's going to be a great day.
You said it yourself, last good day of sunny weather on Sunday. What kind of weather can we expect as Florence makes its way up the coast?
Well, we're going to expect that rainy weather. What's going to happen to Florence is it's going to weaken into a tropical storm, and from there, it's going to make its way up sort of through West Virginia, through western Pennsylvania, and then up into central New York. It'll be what's called a tropical depression there. So what we're looking at is maybe 25, 20-mile-per-hour winds, so still high winds here in central New York. It's not going to be hurricane force at all, but we're looking for thunderstorms all day long, Monday and Tuesday. So.
Wow, that sounds like quite a lot of thunderstorms coming our way. Do you think that we'll see any type of flooding, or how should we prepare for these storms?
I would never rule out the chance for flooding. Obviously, some of the streets here in Syracuse, they don't have the best drainage.
Especially on campus, walking on the promenade. I bet you that's going to be flooded on Monday, so students should definitely be aware of that.
So, yeah, no, I definitely watch out. Again, the rule of thumb, turn around, don't drown. Please don't drown. If you see water, just don't drive.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zach.
Thank you.
That's all we have for tonight. You can check out more content on CitrusTV.com and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and at CitrusTV News.
For Citrus TV, I'm Conor Wight.
And I'm Rebekah Castor. Have a great evening, Syracuse.